And welcome back to Everyman Driver, where we post new videos to YouTube every day, Monday through Friday. Alongside Alex Afreese, I am Dave Erickson.
Make sure to click that little subscribe button there next to your video window to receive all of our new video uploads.
In today's rear view mirror, we are looking back at two recently reviewed vehicles.
Yeah, we're looking at the 2013 Mazda 3 and also the 2013 Infiniti EX37 Journey all-wheel drive.
Should be a good conversation. Everyman Driver starts now.
All right, Dave, so let's start out with the Infiniti EX37. There was a lot of things we liked about the car, including that gorgeous interior.
And that's the biggest selling point of that car. It's a whole other world once you step inside the car. The leather, the luxury, and I think in a word, it's just a luxurious interior for a car. But the downside is that there's just not enough space back there to make it, an SUV.
Yeah, and I think I gave it somewhere around 36 months on our ownership scale, and that pains me a little bit because it's a great looking car from the outside. The interior is gorgeous, but like we've said, it's like the whole purpose of not just buying a G37 sedan is that increased back seat and cargo room, and it's not there. So to me, I look at that car and go, yeah, it's pretty, it's expensive, it's luxurious, but ultimately it's pointless.
And I wonder if that's just something that Infiniti is sticking with, that style and that type of cargo room, because I really don't like the fact that you have such it's so high off the ground to get into the back seat or into the cargo area.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is like that. I would think that maybe that's not a priority. I don't know. I'm not an Infiniti engineer, but that doesn't seem like that's a big of a deal. Their selling point, at least my impression is, let's make it a beautiful ride, let's make it really great in the front two seats, and the back is an afterthought. That's the impression I get.
Well, yeah, and ultimately it's a really tough nut to crack. BMW tried it with the X6, I believe it is, which is essentially their crossover. Mm-hmm. And again, it fails miserably. It doesn't drive as well as a car, as a sedan, and it doesn't really have the storage space or capabilities of an SUV. And especially when we're talking about all these SUVs that, let's face it, are never going to go off of the streets.
That's right.
You start to just wonder, well, what good is this thing? I feel like automakers are running out of new car concepts. So for example, the Ford Explorer was revolutionary, kicked off the SUV craze. Mm-hmm. The Dodge Caravan 10 years before it, the minivan came along. And now they keep trying to go, we're going to create this new segment by doing something weird, but it doesn't really do anything well. It's like they're running out of ideas.
They do have that unique look, though, and styling to it. That little bubble back to it, and the big front end, the big engine compartment.
Yeah.
That continues to be their signature. That's an Infiniti
right
when you see that car. Whereas a lot of other SUVs, if they're all gray in color, like I do a lot of rental cars, or I've used a lot of rental cars through my other travels, they all look alike.
Right.
There's so many that look alike. Yeah. I mean, even if it's a CRV, there's a lot of CRV looking like vehicles, which is boring. And it's really hard for them to distinguish themselves. So let's give Infiniti some credit on trying to stand out. But that back area, why bother? Unless you just want to make a larger SUV.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the external styling. I like it, and I like it more than the old. I forget if it was just if it had the same model name, but when that one first came out that I thought looked like a pill bug, whether that was called the old EX, Infiniti's changing all their names again anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I just want them to create, if they're going to create something different, I want them to create something that's worth being different.
And I'm tired of all the JX, EX, FX.
It's unbelievable, and they're changing it again.
It's just too confusing. I mean, you want to go shopping for something. What model would you like? Well, it has an X in it.
Now, the reason that they do that. There's actually a reason. And for all of the Everyman Driver viewers at home, they do that for international copyright reasons. Essentially, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but essentially, if you've got a Ford Fusion in America, it's that copyright is only good in America. It's not good in, say, China. But if you just have letters and numbers, you can't. It's like you can't steal that name or something. So anyway, all those letters and numbers do have a reason, but they get incredibly confusing.
They do.
And that's why, like I said on one episode, go buy at least Volkswagens have real names.
That's right. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on to the second car, the Mazda 3. Now, I like Mazdas. We reviewed that CX-5.
CX-5.
We really liked that. And
a lot.
I was excited for the Mazda 3 because I've always thought that it was a car that was overlooked for value overall. And I think there was a lot of things good about it. The interior, though, really rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't think the interior is a priority.
Yeah.
I think economy is a priority. I mean, it gets up to 40 miles per gallon
That's
on the
true.
highway.
With an engine with decent pep.
Yeah, I mean, it had 155 horsepower, so that's enough for what you're going to get. And the price point, as we've learned, that the average price of a new car today is right around 25 grand, which is what the M3 is about. I mean, I think it's
Or just the Mazda 3.
Mazda 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
M3s are slightly more expensive. You're looking at
Again, more letters and numbers.
65. Yeah, very true.
Mazda 3,
They just
M3.
call it a 3.
So that one's in the upper 20 or upper mid 20, 23,000.
Yeah.
A little extra, you can go up to 26,000. So price point and the audience that they're catering to. And I know it's one of the things you first said is like this is a girl car.
Yeah.
It's not something a guy wants to show off necessarily,
Right.
unless he's married.
Right.
Then he has nothing to prove.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. The interior isn't a priority, but every time I could just see myself, every time I get in that car, that little dash screen, what's two screens that just seem like a 2-year-old took paste and glued them into the dash, every time I got in that car, that would bug me. So more than anything, because I'm so picky when it comes to cars, I just like a car where I don't have anything that bugs me every time I get in the car.
Well, that's the thing. We see new cars every week, 2 new cars every week that
Yeah.
we're driving and reviewing. And so when we step into it, that's our first impression.
Right.
And if that stands out to us, it's going to stand out to somebody else, and it's going to be just a pain in the butt to get used to.
Yeah.
You will get used to it,
Yeah.
but it won't be as cool as when you step into your friend's car.
Right.
And you go, wow, I like that display, or I like that 8-inch screen or 7-inch screen, and what's that thing over there?
Yeah.
And you're so used to having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options and the buttons here and there. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to just drive. Just make it as easy as possible for me. Let me enjoy the driving experience.
I couldn't agree more. In fact,
You can disagree with me every once in a while.
No, I don't. But I'll disagree with you that, yeah, I can get used to, for example, the Acura TL that we reviewed with the 6-speed cool car. The interior was too busy.
Very, very busy.
But at least I could get used to all of the buttons, and after a little while, you'd figure it out, and you'd get used to the buttons. That's not a car that I would get in every time, and the interior would bug me necessarily. So I would be okay with that. So I would rather that interior than the Mazda where I get in, and quite frankly, to me, it just looks like lazy design and engineering.
It was misplaced. There were gaps near the gearbox.
Yeah.
There was too many screens. It could have been organized better.
Yeah.
And again, no, I'm not trying to make it or hurt anyone's feelings, but that's just not. I can see that's not where their focus was.
Right.
Put more thought into it.
Yeah, because
from an everyman driver's point of view.
Especially because Mazda really did do so many things right on that car. The engine's pretty good. I like the styling. I love the front end. The car smiles at you, and even the paint was cool. It was like a metallic, glittery kind of a red.
Yep.
Back seat wasn't horrible for a small size sedan. So I hate when cars do so many things right. In fact, I would say with both of these cars we've talked about today, they did a ton of things right, but one glaring thing wrong. And it's almost like when you only do one thing glaringly wrong instead of many things wrong, it almost makes it worse.
Sure.
It's like
it's the big thumb that's sticking out.
It's like if you've got if you're looking at a girl and she's just ugly,
and you're looking at a lot of girls. You've got a lot of experience looking.
I look at a lot of ugly women, and many things about them, you'd just go, well, they're ugly, and you'd go, okay, well, fine. But then if it was a really, really hot girl who just had an enormous nose, but everything else was fine, you would long more for a good nose.
I hear you.
Because it's so close. It's so close. So that is how I feel about these two cars.
That's an incredible analogy to make, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
You went from the girl with the big nose to a car that's, lacking in, cargo space.
Yeah, so now all of the female Everyman driver fans are going to hate me and probably call me a misogynist.
Okay, well, if you're looking for a massage, contact Alex.
A misogynist.
Oh, right.
Not a massage therapist.
Okay. Well, hey, let's wrap this up on our two rear view mirror vehicles, the Mazda 3 and the 2013 Infiniti EX37 all-wheel drive. That was a
Journey.
Journey.
They call it. I want to throw some Journey music in the background of this.
It might be a copyright. We might not be able to do that.
That's true.
Until next time, this is Alex. I'm Dave. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time with a car review and another episode of In the Rearview Mirror.